It's 5:15. Time to go live. I see some of y'all in the chat. Let me pop in the chat, say what's up. Let me know if the sound is coming in right. Let me know if I sound right. Might have to adjust that. I'm getting a lot of feedback, a lot of humming. I'm not sure if that is from me or the mixer or what. So holla at me. Let me know how it sounds. I think I can also go. The sound is good. Jared says the sound is good. Jared in the chat. Jared Williams in the chat. Minho, I got your voicemail, but we're gonna play it, bro. Good. All right. I don't have too much time. I'm gonna wrap this up by 6, so we got to go right into it. Okay. I should probably send a tweet out. And a screenshot. Okay, got that. Get this tweet out there, and then we'll rock. Nets world, Nets fans, I see y'all. It's a big episode today. We turn the page on some things, man. That's why I called the title Preseason Ends. Turn the page. We got to move forward. We got to move on, and we are. Probably give you a 40-minute episode right here from 5:20 to 6 o'clock. But got to do some promo real quick to get it out. And where's the YouTube link? I see we got some people that pulled up. That's what we call Noti Squad. If you're a Pinstripe Strong fan, you know about Joe's McFly and the Noti Squad. Guys that just have the notification on, and they're pulling up as soon as it says we're live. So appreciate y'all. I know some people probably watch these, and they're like, I wish it started sooner. But it's a one-man show. I'm setting everything up. I'm producing the show. I'm hosting the show, and doing what I can. So thanks for bearing with me. I will start the show in 2 minutes. Let's see. Talking Nets. Done. Okay. Come watch, listen, Talking Nets World Live. Talking Nets World Live. Okay, is that the right? It is the right. It is the right link. Excuse my attire. I have dinner reservations after this. I did not wear any Nets gear. Shark Slayer 9 says, what notification? Thoughts on Kyrie Irving, Keith? There's 100% chance we talk about Kyrie because the last episode was just Kyrie being out. Kyrie being told that he can't be a part-time player. I've got voicemails. We're going to hit those, and that'll lead us into that conversation. What notification? If you are subscribed to Talking Nets on YouTube, you should get a notification every time we go live. That's the notification I'm talking about. All right, let's do it. I'm going to turn the AC off. Maybe that's some of the buzzing. Yeah, I'm gonna turn the AC off, and we'll start right now. I think that killed some of the buzz. I just want the audio to be good for the pod. Jared said we're good, so we're good. All right. Counting us in here. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Talking Nets, episode 129. Preseason ends, turn the page. Preseason's over. That's it. That's it for the exhibition games. It's real now. As of Tuesday, your Brooklyn Nets start their quest for a championship in the 2021-2022 season. We got to turn the page. We know about Kyrie. We're going to talk a little bit about Kyrie. We're going to play your voicemails because earlier in the week I asked, hey, call in. We've been doing some Twitter spaces, and I've been talking to a lot of Nets fans, just trying to gauge how they feel. It's okay to feel different ways. It's okay to change your mind. It's okay to think differently as this thing evolves. So we'll get into voicemails. We'll talk about Kyrie. We'll talk about last night's game. I was in the Barclays Center. First time I've been in the Barclays Center since Game 7. So it was good to be back. Nets world, we got a lot to look forward to. Talking Nets. Let's get it. We go hard. 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 Yes, sir. Welcome back to Talking Nets, episode 129. Keith McPherson joining you solo. And I have to address why I've been coming to you solo the last 3 episodes now. The first one, we said it was conflict of schedules. The last one was an emergency pod because we got the Kyrie news. But today is the day to address the current situation with Talking Nets. Moving forward, Talking Nets will be a solo operation. It'll be just me. That means you will hear just me on the mic. That'll be me on Instagram. That'll be me on YouTube, Twitter. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to get that Twitter account back. I've been working on it since the first week of September. I've talked to some higher level people inside Twitter, and I don't think our 14,000 follower Talking Nets Twitter account is coming back at this point. Most of you know Hudson Flynn ran the Twitter. We started it together. We grew it together. And over time, it just made more sense for me to man Instagram, him to man Twitter, especially with me going to games. I couldn't be online to clip the games and stuff like that. And Hudson did a great job. Hudson is somebody that I didn't choose to move on from. I also didn't choose to do this with. But this is business. Business decisions have been made. There's changes going on for Talking Nets. There's changes going on for myself. I'm sure Hudson has a lot going on campus. He's made some decisions. The company's made some decisions, and we are moving forward with Talking Nets podcast and brand as just Keith McPherson. But I plan to have on some guests. If you're listening to this, you could be a guest. You're going to hear some voices on this podcast today from people that listen to Talking Nets, Nets fans. I will have some rotation going on this season. I've already spoken to some different people that you guys all know in the Nets world, fans, reporters, different people that create content around the Nets that'll be a part of this as we go through this season. But last thing I'll say is, Hudson Flynn, I appreciate your contribution. I appreciate everything you've done. We worked hard to get Talking Nets to where it is, and I will carry it forward from here. Let's get into the voicemails. There is not a lot of time to waste. There is not really much time to spend on, housekeeping. Turn the page time, right? Like I said, the Nets have turned the page and they're moving forward without Kyrie this season. And we as fans have to turn the page on it. The media, they may never turn the page on it. They may spend every day of this season asking about it. But this week I put out a tweet, and then I also put it on Instagram, and I said, hey, I got to hear from you guys, because I was walking home after hearing about Kyrie being out and Kyrie not being a part-time player. And I didn't think that he could be. I know 2 episodes ago, I said, you can't be in, you can't be out. You can't be 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I've never seen a part-time athlete in professional sports. I've never seen an NBA player that just plays on the road. So a lot of you called. And like I said in the intro, we've been doing spaces. I've gotten to talk to a lot of Nets fans online, but also in person at practice in the park and at the game last night. So let's get into these voicemails. I think we'll start with the bad ones. Well, not bad. I don't want to call it bad. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion and thoughts on this situation. But I will start with the ones that have a sentiment that I wasn't necessarily going for.
I'm going to keep it quick, guys. I feel like everybody's talking about what's happening and what's going to happen, but I want your
Okay, that wasn't playing out of the Bluetooth. Did my Bluetooth disconnect here? Come on now. Come on now. Come on. Are y'all hearing that?
I feel like everybody's talking about what's happening.
Okay. Sorry for the tech difficulties, but when you work in tech, there's always difficulties. All right, first voicemail from the top. Here we go.
I'm gonna keep it quick, guys. I feel like everybody's talking about what's happening, and what's gonna happen, but I want your honest opinion. Like, I feel like no one's really explicitly said like what they really think is gonna happen. As a fan, so I can go to sleep tonight, please give me good news, but also give me honest news. What do you actually think is gonna happen?
Now that voicemail came in Wednesday night at 11:50. I am pretty sure Kyrie went live on his Instagram. What's today? Friday. I think he went live on Instagram Tuesday night into Wednesday. I might be wrong with that. So this caller asked, what do I honestly think is going to happen with Kyrie Irving? What I honestly think is that one man controls his destiny and his fate. And it's up for that man to look in the mirror and decide what kind of man he wants to be, what type of person he wants to be, what type of leader he wants to be. And I think those thoughts and decisions are happening right now. I think Kyrie Irving, he showed us some vulnerability. He showed us that he was hurt. He even showed us that he was confused. He didn't exactly have all the words together on his Instagram live. And I think that he's struggling a bit. I think that this thing snowballed faster than he anticipated. And now he's in a situation where he does have to take his time and make the right decision for himself, his family, his friends, his future, and the Brooklyn Nets. And what I do think is going to happen is that Kyrie is going to rejoin the Brooklyn Nets. I can't speculate on how. I don't know how. I don't know if it's going to be a mandate change. I think that's so far down the line for mandates to get changed, especially as we head into the colder months of the fall and the winter where people get sick more and COVID cases should rise. I can't predict a mandate being removed in New York City. I also can't predict Kyrie Irving deciding to get the shot. We're in the 10th month of the year. The shot has been available to people like Kyrie since January. If it's been 10 months and you didn't willingly go roll up your sleeve and get the shot, then that tells me that you didn't want to get the shot. And it's going to take a lot for you to decide that you're going to go do it. And it's not going to be a willingly participant. Like, he's not going to willingly go run and do it now because he can't play basketball. It's going to take some time. And I think it's going to be a tough decision that he's just going to be kind of forced into if he goes that route. All right, next voicemail.
Yo, long time listener, first time caller, man. Love the Instagram page, but once we get all that out the way, man, all I got to say on this Kyrie Irving situation is I'm not opposed to a trade anymore. I know Kevin Durant and James Harden are both back in the Kyrie train. They're saying they respect him, they respect his choice. But honestly, as the time goes on, I'm starting to look at him more like a liability. I think it would be interesting to talk about how much of a liability he's been to other teams, not just the Nets, with missing games, obviously, for us, but also with the Celtics, with his antics, with his flat eartherisms. I just think he's a handful. He was going to be tough for this organization. I had faith, but from what it sounds like, Nash and Marks are starting to lose a little confidence. And KD and Harden, man, this is their last window to win a ring. Harden, this is his best chance to win a ring, and he said he wants to retire here. So we'll see how it plays out. But the way I see it, I'm looking for him to just get his backs or for a trade, maybe. But obviously, don't want to be too rash. Love the show, guys. Interested to know what you guys think. Peace.
So as far as a trade with Kyrie Irving goes, I don't think it happens. I don't think it happens this season. In theory, sure, you should be looking to get something for this asset that you can't use. You should be looking to acquire other assets to improve your team. It's business. You should always be looking. When Shams came out on the Glue Guys and said, at the least, the Brooklyn Nets should be listening to offers for Kyrie, I said, no shit, of course. This is the NBA. You should be at least picking up the phone and listening to offers for anybody on your team. You don't know what the next team is going to offer or what you could possibly finesse. We have Sean Marks. In Marks we trust, the finesser of the year. Sean Marks is probably on that phone more than we realize. But as far as Kyrie Irving goes, do you think other teams are trying to sign up for the headache that we have right now with Kyrie? They're not. And the caller alluded to him being a headache in Boston. We know how, that all played out. They were in a playoff run. Kyrie, I think, lost his grandfather. He stepped away from the team. He didn't really have the greatest communication with them. with the Cavs. He forced his way out into the trade, blah, 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 blah. I hate going through Kyrie stuff, from the flat earth stuff to his leaves last year to the unmasked party. It's just like people just pile on Kyrie from his track record of negative things, and then they erase his track record of good things on the court and off the court. And I don't think that's fair. For Kyrie Irving, I don't think that there is a possible trade as of right now. This thing has to play out. It needs time. There could be a trade, I don't know, down the line, but he's a Brooklyn Net. He's ours. We were in a space the other day, and Podthorn said something about Kyrie, and I don't even use this like language on the pod, but he said it this way. I'm quoting him. He said, he's a dickhead. He's a difficult dickhead, but he's our dickhead. Like, he's ours. And I know you all have family members and friends that frustrate you, or that do things in different ways, or go against the grain, and it's consistent. Their thinking is consistently different. Their actions are always like, come on, man. You deal with them. You love them. You figure things out, you adjust, you adapt, and you deal with them. And I think that's what the Brooklyn Nets ultimately are going to do. No one man should have all this power. Why does Kyrie have all this power? Because he's got superpowers on that basketball court. He was factored into this title run. He hasn't been factored out yet. He has been pushed out. And the only reason he's been pushed out is because they had to do what's best for the team, right? Kyrie on his live said he came into the season expecting exemptions. He came into the season thinking that he could play unvaccinated. The mandate hit, I think, in August. And the Brooklyn Nets were trying to figure out how he could be a part-time player. They were trying to figure out how to adapt the situation around this one powerful player. If this was DeAndre Jordan, he would be cut. He'd be released. He'd be traded. This is Kyrie Irving we're talking about. We know how good of a basketball player he is. That's why we put him in this equation, this big three that we no longer have. It's a 2 out of 3, which will be just fine, because last year we played with mostly 2 out of the big 3. Okay, here goes another.
Chief Hudson, it's your boy Louie out here in Minnesota. We're actually playing the Wolves, I think, tomorrow in Brooklyn. A side note, I'm in the middle of doing some math homework right now. I'm just trying to get my mind off of all this Kyrie drama. You know where I'm at with Kai. I stand with my boy no matter what. We support Kai. Got the shirt. I'm repping with Kai no matter what. It's the king. Sad to see. I'm rocking with my boy Patty too, though. So we'll see where that goes. I'm not really focusing on all this De'Aaron Fox, all this Damian Lillard stuff, all this Colin Sexton stuff, all this options. And Kyrie's a net. I don't care if he's on the court. I don't care if he's on the sideline. He's a net. And that's what we're focusing on. We still got 7. Still got 13. We got one of the greatest basketball minds coaching, though. Let's roll with what we got. Stick with what we do. We got that grit. We got that Brooklyn grit. Show it this year.
Our guy, Louie, you have heard him on the pod if you were listening last season. He's from Minnesota. Cold like Minnesota. Cold like Minnesota. We just played the Minnesota Timberwolves last night. I was in the house. Shout out to Louie. A couple things from what Louie said. He said he copped the We Support Kyrie shirt. Now, the We Support Kyrie shirt was made in March of last year, because when Kyrie took his leave and, he started the rumblings like Stephen A, Stephen A, I can't stand. What I'll say about Stephen A is, I can't believe this black man consistently tears down other black men for a living. Like, you go on ESPN First Take every day and you attack this guy, and you have no relationship with him. That's what you get paid to do. You are literally a scripted puppet. And it's sad to see you just doubling down on one Kyrie Irving. You are obsessed, Stephen A. But back to Louie. We support Kyrie. I actually wore the shirt to practice in the park. I'm sure a lot of you have seen, because I wasn't sure if Kyrie would show up. I wore it in hopes that he would surprise the fans and show up, and he did. And I know he saw my shirt. He was right in front of me. I didn't get to talk to him, but I gave him a nod. He saw it. Kyrie is a person that needs support. No matter what he does, he gets hated on. If he leaves for the birth of his son, he gets hated on. They do not celebrate him in the same way they celebrate other players and athletes. I don't know why. I've always been supportive of Kai. from St. Anthony's to Duke to the Cleveland Cavaliers to Boston to now my own team, the New Jersey Brooklyn Nets. It sucks, but it is what it is. Louis also mentioned trades for Damian Lillard and that's not happening. The teams are set. The preseason just ended. Teams have turned their page. They're not trading for Kyrie Irving. And even when you break it down, right, there's 5 teams with mandates. So out of 30, that brings you down to 25. Out of the 25, how many teams already have their guards set? How many of those teams did Kyrie already play for that don't have mandates? 2. Take them off the list. How many of those teams have former either players or executives or people that have worked with Kyrie in the past that would say no thank you? There aren't as many trade options out there as people want to theoretically throw on Twitter and Instagram, but go off, do your thing. Other than that, what was the other thing that he said? Yeah, he said he's riding with Kyrie. That's his guy. We got that Brooklyn grit. And that's what I feel like the Brooklyn Nets are banding together on. Yeah, we love Kyrie. We wish he was here. Katie came out in the press conference and said, yo, what would getting mad do right now? Like, we love Kyrie. We wish he was here. And, we wish things were different, but he's not. But we have a job to do. We have a season where there's a lot of people depending on the Brooklyn Nets to win games and bring the chip home. And everyone's got to be locked in and focused on that. Okay, we got 2 more voicemails. 2 more voicemails. One around Kyrie, one a different topic. Let me see where we're at with this. This is a long one, and I hope that you can make out the words. I'm not going to play all of it.
Hey guys, this is Robert from Staten Island. Listen, I agree with Kyrie's decision. He's going to make his own choice at the end of the day. But also, the Nets have to move forward. And I believe they made the right decision by doing this. They're doing what's best for the team. And at the end of the day, listen, I love Kyrie. I'm a Kyrie supporter. But people need to stop hammering home the same thing over and over and over again. We know about the stuff with Kyrie.
So that's where I got to this week. The piling on, the name calling, the ridiculing. I actually took back some of the posts about we support Kyrie in the shirt because it's a fight that you can't win. I can literally write 3 paragraphs about we support Kyrie. That doesn't mean we're anti-vax. We support Kyrie. That doesn't mean we're being political or we're on that side of the political spectrum, which like that is really why I pulled back this week, because if you're on Twitter and you saw some of the politicians and people that have taken Kyrie's side, it's gotten crazy. There's been graphics of Kyrie and Nelson Mandela, Martin Luther King, Muhammad Ali, Malcolm X. So like this thing has gotten out of control. We're talking about one hooper, yo. We're talking about one player. No one man should have all that power. What an exhausting preseason it has been from media day till now, with them just harping on the same things over and over. I put out a video the other night coming home. I think it was Wednesday. Yeah, so Kyrie's live was Wednesday night because I ended up going to sleep early and missed it. But Wednesday, there was no baseball on, so I just went to sleep. And as I'm walking home, I'm seeing everybody tweaking. Kyrie's going to retire. Kyrie's got to get traded. The Nets have turned on him. The Nets, blah, 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 blah. The Nets have made a decision. Okay. Shams wrote an article where he basically said Kyrie wants to be the voice of the voiceless and all this stuff, and basically put words in Kyrie's mouth and spoke for Kyrie, and Kyrie had to come out and talk on his Instagram, and I'm glad that he did. Those are the last voicemails from, the reaction to Kyrie before his live. And then, I wrote a couple notes just about what I got from it, because I had to find it on YouTube the next day. I didn't watch it live. And this is what I got from Kyrie. Kyrie wasn't on there. He was kind of somber in his tone. He just seemed like hurt. He was kind of reserved and didn't have all the words. I think he's confused right now. I think he's bit off more than he could chew. I think he's tired of being villainized. I think he's tired of his name being in all of these different places when all he wants to do really is play basketball. It's unfortunate that things went the way they went, but Kyrie is the only one that has to change this. I'm not saying to feel sorry for Kyrie. I'm saying watching his live, he didn't come off like an anti-vaxxer, right? Or somebody that's like pushing back against the system just to push back. He stated his case about people losing their jobs to the vaccine mandate. And I don't want to get too far into it, but basically what Kyrie was saying was like, people are losing their right to choose. They're losing freedom. What is going on now? We're living in a country where you are told to put something in your body and you don't have a choice. You live one time. You have one life and you have one body to make decisions on. And if you don't feel comfortable, that's okay. The thing about this vaccine and COVID, I said this to my wife. I'm like, COVID is not going to go anywhere. It's not like it's going to get eradicated and disappear. It's going to be around. And this vaccine being available as quick as it was available was awesome because last year sucked. And we never want to repeat that again. But the vaccine is going to be common and regularly available the same way the flu shot is, the same way you get shots for measles, mumps, chicken pox, whatever. Babies get these shots. If you go to a school, you have to get these shots. If you work in certain places, you have to get these shots. They're just standard. It is what it is. And it's not so much just about your personal choice. It's about everyone else around you. So, some people decide that I don't want to be around people. And the way that these mandates are set up, you can't be around people without taking the shot. So with Kyrie, I think he's going to just take his time now, right? Because he came into the season expecting exemptions. Those exemptions are no longer there. He had to try and pivot and change. Just this past week, the Nets said, we're out. He's not going to play half games. That's a lot to handle. That's a lot to take in. That's a lot to adjust to. Shams also spoke on Kyrie's money. And he said, the Nets aren't going to extend him. Well, no, the Nets shouldn't extend a player that's not eligible under any circumstance. You should not offer an extension to a player that cannot play in your city under current mandates. But also, I think people just jumped out of the window when they see the numbers. Oh, he was willing to give up $16 million, half of his contract to only play half. It wasn't that he was willing to give it up. Bro is already a multi-millionaire. He's got more money right now than he can ever spend. It wasn't that he's like trying to take a $16 million loss. And then they said now he's willing to lose $186 million. No, he's not. He came out and said he's not retiring. He came out and said, would I give up this dream of winning a championship? Would I give up this game that I fell in love with at age 4 when I started hooping? No. So just don't believe everything you hear. It was unfortunate this week to see Nets fans divided. We ain't got enough people in our fan base to be divided. The Yankee fan base, I'm used to being divided on every single thing. There's millions of Yankee fans. I feel like there's thousands of Nets fans. We can't be divided on this issue. Kyrie is out until he makes a decision and changes where he's at, and then he can rejoin us, which I do think will happen at some point this season. But don't go defending Kyrie too much, and don't go bashing Kyrie too much. At the end of the day, you're a Nets fan, and he plays for your Brooklyn Nets, and you don't want to be the guy deleting tweets or, having to backtrack your stance because you took such a hard line against a guy that can help us win a championship, and I think will help us win a championship this year. So Kyrie said, nobody's going to hijack my voice. See if they play this, and they did. They did play his Instagram live on SportsCenter, on pretty much everywhere. He said, don't believe everything you hear until you hear it from me. And that's what I was on when I put out that little video saying to y'all, slow down. Let this thing play out. Everything's evolving faster than it's actually evolving. People are jumping out of the window. He said, I don't just go home and think about ball. It's his job. When you get home from work, you like to disconnect from your job, don't you? I bet you do. Same for Kyrie. And Kyrie, it's even more because he's involved in so many things outside of basketball. And I'm glad that some people started resurfacing, like we were putting it out last year, all the good he's done in his community, outside his community. You guys heard about him buying George Floyd's family a house, paying the tuition of students at HBCUs. You always see him out randomly with like a bunch of different people that you're like, whether he's doing a food drive, whether he's getting in touch with Native Americans, indigenous people, whatever. Kyrie is a guy that cares about the world around him. I think more people should care about the world around them and stop trying to attack this man. You know, I saw people flipping that like, oh, if he cares about the world around him, he'd just go ahead and get vaccinated to protect other people. Everybody doesn't have to think the way you think. And he's not on your time. Kyrie's not on your time. Clearly, he's not on the Nets' time. He's not on anyone's time but his own. And I appreciate Jay Will being on ESPN kind of defending that. He needs more time. He went into the season thinking that he could play unvaccinated. Now he knows he can only play if vaccinated. He needs time to actually get the education and research, which I'm sure the Nets are helping him get. And he's got to make a decision if this is right for him. I don't think he's going to die on the hill of being the voice for the voiceless. I don't think he's going to die on the hill of, oh, you know, this isn't right that people aren't getting the freedom to choose. At the end of the day, he's about to start watching the Brooklyn Nets play basketball without him. He came here and brought KD here. And then he played the first year without KD and got in front of the mic and said, it's glaring that we need another piece. And then what did the Brooklyn Nets go out and do the next year? They traded and got James Harden. We have those three pieces and then a bunch of other pieces in between. So I want to move on and I want to talk about those pieces and those games. Kyrie, I feel for you, but I don't. Like, I feel bad for you because I think that you bit off more than you could chew, and this thing spiraled out of control, and now it's just another bad mark on your ledger, and only you can make it right, but we all know that you aren't running to get the shot anytime soon because you had plenty of time to do that, and we know that you're thinking about more than just yourself and your basketball career, but you got to understand how much this means to people. The Brooklyn Nets have been searching for a championship for many years now. Let's go back to 2003. This is our best chance and our best roster to do that. And without you, people are upset. People are mad. And there's a lot of Nets fans that are happy that the Nets took this stance. And I felt like that, you know, they had to, they would. They weren't going to go into the season with a part-time player. It would have been a huge distraction. We got a taste of what a distraction it was going to be this last month. But let's move on. Preseason. Okay, preseason game last night. That was the last preseason game. I honestly don't care about the preseason in any sport. You've heard me talk about it. It's exhibition. These are professional players. They even have like a code of conduct. They have a way that they go about doing things in preseason games. Like, they don't go too hard. In the Sixers game, I felt like the Sixers were defending their home court and they were going super hard and the Nets weren't. And then they got caught off guard and they were sloppy, whatever. Last night's game was great, though. It was my first time back in Barclays Center. It was my first time this season going to see this team live, and I loved it. The Barclays Center has a couple new bars, renovations. I know that BSE Global, the Brooklyn Nets, they are working to make that game day experience awesome, and it already is. I was in there dancing the whole time. If you like hip-hop and you like music, you got to go to Nets games. You will be in your seat bopping and dancing the whole time. DJ J. Jung, DJ Mills, they kill it with the instrumentals and the beats that they play. Ali Love is awesome on the mic and on the big screen doing games and contests. And your favorite rapper is probably a Brooklyn Nets fan. Last night, Young Thug and Gunna were in the house. They put them on the big screen. They started this ski challenge. I don't know if y'all know the ski song from Young Thug. Yeah, ski. You'll see when you go to the game, and hopefully you'll see me there. I saw myself on the big screen yesterday, and I froze. There's a Nets promo commercial that they played on the big screen from practice in the park. I'm in it waving my towel, and I just was like, wow, yo, I can't believe they put me in the promo. Awesome. Love the Brooklyn Nets. Love this team. Last night was a little preview of the Joey Buckets Revenge Tour. Joey Buckets was hitting his threes. That's how you want it to look. That's how we need it to look most of the time. It's not going to look like that other nights, and other guys will step up. But it was good to see him doing his thing. LaMarcus Aldridge, LA. It is great to have a veteran presence like that can get buckets. Trill Sapp, Paul Millsap, ladies and gentlemen. Blake Griffin was out yesterday. Millsap started. I think I want to see a little bit more of Millsap. And before we get to the next guy, I'll play one more voicemail.
Hey, Keith. The name's Mino. We met at the practice in the park. I just wanted to say, what's your opinion on Claxton being our starting center? I know it was just preseason versus the Timberwolves, but he looked great out there. Hey, man, let's go Nets.
Let's go Nets, Brooklyn. Okay, so shout out to Mino. He was in the chat. We met at practice in the park. Good to meet you. Good to link with you in person, bro. Clax, the Clax era. Oh, no, my camera's getting blurry. Bruh, what is that from? Is that the internet connection? I got to keep it rolling either way. Shark Slayer 9 writes in the chat, I'm concerned that Claxton gets enough that gets enough minutes or doesn't get enough. I'm concerned that Claxton gets enough minutes this season. He looked good in the starting lineup last night, and he is a top-notch defender. Do not be concerned. Do not be concerned. What I can tell you about Nick Claxton is he is ready. This is his third year. He's been staying real close to one James Harden. And last night, I had a great view of the beard, the lob, the locks. That's just something I came up with because we got to figure out a nickname for these Claxton lobs that he's catching from Harden. They've got their rhythm and timing down. That's what you get from an offseason. Last year, we didn't have that. We didn't have an offseason. Well, we had a short offseason. We didn't have a training camp. And then James Harden came in January. These guys have been working out together. You saw over the summer, Claxton was in Houston with Harden. I think he's the guy. I don't know if he's going to start every game. I don't know how many minutes he's going to get. There are veterans there, yes, in LaMarcus Aldridge, Blake Griffin, Paul Millsap that can get time playing the 5. But I think Claxton is the guy. And when I say he's the guy, we drafted him. He's our guy. It's his third year in the league. I don't think he put on much weight, but they said he was lifting. And he was ferocious last night. 2-hand dunks, catching lobs, playing tough defense, playing defense on Cat. And I just think Clax has got the swagger. You guys know he plays with this like get off me mentality that is going to be big for us. He can be an enforcer. He's got the Goldilocks. I think people learned his name last year, but they're going to know his name this year. I remember watching Los that does videos, famous Los, and he was calling Claxton Big Dirk because he's got the blonde dreads like Lil Dirk. He was calling him Big Dirk. I'm like, come on, you know his name. And that's going to be great for the Nets to have an option like that in Nick Claxton. That game last night was awesome. The Nets won 107 to 101. I don't like to analyze too much about what went on in the game. I will say a couple more just like good things I saw. Javon Carter, man, if Javon Carter, we traded for Landry Shamet and in preseason. I know I don't want to analyze or overreact, but just what I've seen from Javon Carter alone in preseason versus Landry Shamet, upgrade. In Marks we trust, upgrade. And then we also got Day'Ron Sharpe. So we get Day'Ron Sharpe and Javon Carter for Landry Shamet. Yeah. If he's hitting open threes like that, he's money from the corner, and he's not afraid. He's a bulldog defensively. He's picking up guys at half court. That's what we're going to need at the guard position, especially missing number 11. Javon Carter, good to see you. Good to have you. Patty Mills hasn't really impressed me yet in the preseason, but it's Patty Mills. Y'all saw what he did in the Olympics. You know what he's done in his career. He's going to be there for us. He's going to be valuable. DeAndre Bembry impressed me this preseason. I didn't know much about him. I didn't even know how to say his name when we first got him. And I think he's going to contribute. News came out today about, who's going to get the two ways. And it's down now. We know that Devontae Kaycock is out. And, well, not out, but Kaycock will be going to play for the Long Island Nets. And then you've got David Duke Jr. and Kessler Edwards taking the other two ways. The 15 plus 2 roster will be finalized. The 14 fully guaranteed standard NBA deals, partially guaranteed for now. Bembry and Kessler and David Duke getting the two ways. So cool, man. This Nets roster is deep. This Nets roster is ready for a playoff run. There's nothing to analyze from that game yesterday besides we won. D'Lo didn't play. Ant-Man was trying to get 30, 40 points on us. Cat was getting frustrated a little bit. One thing I'll say that I noticed, Coach Nash, there was a lady ref, I know y'all saw with the blonde hair. She twice was just like in amazement and didn't call a foul when Katie was getting fouled. And Nash yelled, like I could hear him. He raised his voice. He's like, come on, where is that? And I'm like, good. We need Coach Nash to do that. And maybe him and Katie had a conversation after last week when we saw in Philly KD got teed up going at the ref. Well, let Nash get, into the ref's heads, into the ref's ears. It can't be KD always defending himself. So, all right, we got 5 minutes left. There's no more voicemails. Appreciate everyone that called in. Appreciate everyone that joined the space this week. Appreciate everyone that just had something to say. Everybody's talking Nets. There's no such publicity as bad publicity, in my opinion. I've said that before and people disagree, but when I say there's no such publicity as bad publicity, it's publicity. It's for the Nets. Kyrie Irving plays for the Nets. He's on BBC World News. He's on CNN. Okay, it's unfortunate, the situation, because people want to paint it different ways, but everybody is talking Nets. The Brooklyn Nets are the focus of every sports conversation, every sports show. And you know where the conversation is going to shift next? To the games. Once the game starts, F everything else. Once the games start, we're going to talk about basketball. We're going to talk about who we're playing, matchups, who looks good, who doesn't look good, wins and losses, what we got to do on the road. We've got a road stand, home stand, big home stand. I think there's like 6 games in the first home stand. I'm trying to go to like 4 of those games. So let's take questions from the chat. You guys are always welcome to throw your questions up in here, and I will answer them. Appreciate, again, everybody that called the voicemail. I'm pretty sure I played everyone that left a voicemail. I will double, triple check that. But I appreciate y'all. Oh, one thing I wanted to speak on, I don't know if I spoke on it at all, but there was a team bonding, and this gives you guys time to, throw your questions out. There was a team bonding dinner at Joe Tsai and Clara Tsai's house in California. Supposed to be like a ridiculous mansion overlooking the mountains, and all the players were there. They were playing bocce ball and eating steak and shrimp and whatever. Kyrie was there. So as much as the media wants to villainize him, as much as people want to paint this picture, I tell Nets fans, like, you only know what you know at the surface level. You don't know the conversations behind the scenes. You don't know the relationships behind the scenes. It's sources season. Everybody's got a source. Sources say the Nets are willing to trade Kyrie. There could be no truth to that. Sources say the Nets are listening to all, like, maybe they are, but I just feel like people are running with things because that's what's fun for people to do. KD said, do y'all even like basketball, or you just like the narratives and the stories around basketball? Because it seems like you hate the players. Like KD said something along the lines of that. Like, seems like y'all hate the players. There's always something. And Kyrie got a lot of hate, man, but I didn't see Josh Isaac or Jonathan Isaac. What's his name from the Magic? I didn't see Bradley Beal, Jonathan Isaac. I didn't see Jonathan Isaac from the Magic talked about on CNN or BBC. I didn't see Bradley Beal or some of these other cats, Michael Porter Jr. getting dragged like Kyrie was getting dragged. We're in New York. We're in Market 1. The Nets are the number 1 team. They're favored to win it all. Kyrie is a powerful player. Comes with the territory. All right, let's see. I think Bruce should start over Joe. Thoughts on that, Keith? It depends. Joe is hot right now, and we need to instill confidence in Joe, and we need to all be behind Joe, and that's why I've been talking about this revenge tour season. Joe Harris is going to get his revenge. Joe Harris is going to be Joe Harris, one of, if not the best three-point shooter in the league. Joe Harris starting, I think he's going to start, and I think there is a way where they both could start. We'll see. We'll see. I think it's going to vary. I think we're going to see a lot of different iterations of the starting 5, but I don't think it's a Bruce versus Joe thing. They're boys. I think they can both be on the floor at the same time. How much playing time do you think Sharp is going to get? Not much. And let's talk Cam Thomas. He got in the game last night, and it's good to see how excited fans are. He missed a shot, and you heard, Cam Thomas has the spark. He has the it factor. He gets in the game, and everyone is paying attention. And our guys like KD and Harden are coaching him up. He's getting a world-class education on the NBA by 2 of the best players of all time. Cam Thomas is going to get more time than Day'Ron Sharpe. Day'Ron Sharpe, I only see getting time if there's an injury. I just don't think he's as far along as a rookie as Cam Thomas is. Here's another question, and we'll wrap. How many games do you think Kyrie will miss? I think he'll miss the first half and then come back after the All-Star break. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking with Kyrie, and then that continues. Because of Kyrie's situation, you think Kyrie because of Kyrie's situation, do you think Harden will be more of his Houston self in terms of? So let's go back to the first one. I don't know how many games Kyrie will miss, but I know how seasons change. I know he's got a baby, and I know Kyrie is on his own time. So I don't expect Kyrie to run back. He played 54 out of 72 games last year. He might take the first half off, like you're saying, but I expect him to come back sooner than the half, because the half All-Star is usually like Valentine's Day weekend, middle of February. I think it's going to go something like this. Kyrie might take the rest of the year 2021 off, because we got Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, a lot of holiday and family time. He might actually take that time to research a little bit more and be around his family. In his live, he said, like, you know, we rather be hanging out with our families, but we go out there and perform. We go out there and practice. We sacrifice and spend time away from our families to achieve this goal. He might look at this as an extended vacay. He's going to get paid for road games, even though he's not playing them. I think in the last episode, we got on an hour after the news broke, and I just thought that, hey, he ain't getting paid, he's out. No. And someone said, no, he'll get paid still for road games. So he's still going to be collecting $425,000 every road game. It's not bad. That's more than some people will literally make in their entire life. So I think Kyrie will come back in the new year. In 2022, I think he will rejoin the team at some point. And then as far as Harden's play style goes, as far as what Harden we're going to get, last night you got assists, Harden. I think he had 14 assists. It's funny, his first Nets game, he had 14 assists. He can do that. He can distribute. He can get everybody involved. What we need is scoring Harden too. We need Harden to score. We need Harden to shoot the three. We need him to get to the rack. We need him to draw his fouls. Obviously, he's got KD right next to him who's going to do a lot of the scoring. But I don't necessarily think that we need Harden to be distributing as much. I think it's, you know, obviously get everyone involved, but we're going to need the point production as well, especially when we play some of the more talented teams. Okay, not a question, but feels like Patty Mills hasn't found his rhythm yet, and I wonder how well a Patty Harden combo works. I don't know. I know it'll work well with him and LaMarcus Aldridge. Put them two on the floor together. Maybe they're in the first bench group. Maybe they're in the first rotation together. I don't know, but I ain't worried about Patty Mills. He's a veteran, and he's going to figure it out, and the Nets are going to figure it out. We have plenty of good players on this team. I'm sure there's people we didn't even mention. There's, guys on this team that are going to contribute and they're going to help. And these guys all seem to be bought in, led by KD, Harden, Blake Griffin, Joe Harris, Bruce Brown, Nick Claxton, Paul Millsap, LaMarcus Aldridge, Patty Mills, Javon Carter. I could keep going. I think I'm going to get us a new nickname shirt out there somewhere. Cam Thomas, Day'Ron Sharp, Kessler Edwards, David Duke Jr. All right, that's all we've got. Last one is Darius Castle says, greetings from Poland. Greetings from Poland. Greetings from the Bronx by way of New Jersey. That's all I've got. I got to wrap this up. Appreciate y'all, man. This is like a bonus episode. Usually, we record it on Wednesday, or usually we record on Wednesday, but we recorded on Tuesday because we had the breaking news. And then there was a lot of emotion and reaction. And I told some of y'all to slow down and chill. But now it's time to turn the page. This is the season we've been waiting for. This is it. Get excited. It's a joyous time. If you're a Nets fan, this is the most excited you should be about a season and most optimistic. Don't let anything kill your joy. That's all we got. I will see y'all at Barclays. I'll see y'all at the watch party Tuesday night for the season kickoff. I'll see you around. When you see me, grab me, say what's up. Appreciate everybody that comes up and reps Talking Nets. And we're going to keep pushing all through this season until we get to the parade. Let's go Nets. Let's go Nets. Let's go Nets. Let's see where my music is. Do I have outro music ready? Let's go Nets. Let's go Nets. Brooklyn.